Innovation Challenge. This is the 5th year in a row that we've hosted it every spring. About it? Got it. So this is the 5th year in a row that we are kicking off this challenge. I give the students an opportunity to tackle a problem with an idea that they worked through. And I'll be sharing a little bit more details later, but right now, just to have some welcome remarks, I'm excited to bring up to our stage Dr. Christoph Winkler. He is the founding program director and Heinz Endowed Professor of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And it's so funny because we just spoke about how you have to make sure you introduce yourself, and I don't think I said that I'm joining the team as the community manager here at Heinz Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. So thank you for joining us, and thank you, Christoph.
Thank you, Chili. Thank you all for joining in person and online. Again, I'm Christoph Winkler. For those of you who don't know me, I'm endowed professor here, program director, and one of I think the biggest joys of in my job is really to create a space that brings together a community of students like you to think about what it means for me to identify opportunity and just act on it, just do something with it, right? And I think the Iona Innovation Challenge is really one of those important elements of our program of the Heinz Institute. We give it not only a platform to present ideas, but also to help form that community. The community is ever growing, and we're very proud of that. And I think Charlene and Lendy and everybody, and Marisol, everybody here on our team is also like a great resource for you as you think through the ideas, as you participate in the workshops, as you challenge yourself to really do something that hasn't been done before, or maybe hasn't been done before through your lens. So that's really something that I'm really proud of, but most importantly that I'm excited about sharing with you as we all help support ourselves in that endeavor. I want to just mention two things that I think are very important. We don't just have the Iona Innovation Challenge. I think the Heinz Institute itself is now in its 5th year. We have academic programs that you can, explore. So if you have any ideas or would like to explore this in more detail with me, I'm happy to set up an appointment with you to explore our BA or BBA programs that we offer. And the second piece is really, this is your space. This is your home, right? So the Heinz Institute is really a resource, a space, a community for all Iona students. So we really want to connect you to spaces that you may have not thought about before and people that you may not know before, but also give you opportunities to engage with the larger community by participating in the various programs. The Iona Innovation Challenge is an important element of this. And before I keep going and giving you a lecture about something, I'm just going to stop here and bring it back to Charlene, who's going to give an introduction. But welcome, everybody. Good luck with the competition. And a big thanks to, obviously, you, the Heinz family, Iona College students to actually make all of this happen. So have fun and compete with a lot of fun.
So we have an exciting afternoon for you all. We will be having Reba McCollum, who's the founder and CEO of Leslie Lee, joining us today. And later on, I'll be giving you an overview of the entire competition experience, what to expect, what the actual milestones are, and just really go into detail about the prize money as well. Then after that, joining us will be Elizabeth Baez, or you may know her as Lily, talking to you about her experience. She's actually a 2-time winner of the Iona Innovation Challenge, and she'll be sharing her story. And then we'll close off with giving you an opportunity to ask a few questions. So now I'm super, super thrilled to be introducing Reba McCollum. She's a founder and CEO of Leslie Lee. And she's also president of Reba Digital Media. She began her career as a news writer and trade reporter for Gannett Co., mobile marketer, and the Star Ledger. As the print news industry struggled with the rise of blogging and social media, Reba pivoted to software systems, engineering, and digital marketing before transitioning to instructional technology in 2009 and establishing Reba Digital in 2011. And after consulting in K-12, higher ed, and workplace learning for 7 years, Reba Digital and becoming a first-time mom, Reba established Leslie in 2018 to ensure every child has comprehensive health education that builds confidence and connection. In 2020, Reba was named one of the 100 most influential African Americans by The Root for developing an innovative platform of age less confusing. Today, with $1.25 million, and its online health education curriculum has been adopted by schools and districts in 9 states. A recent Headstream Innovator and current Hope Lab Entrepreneurial Fellow. Riva holds a master's degree in instructional technology and media from Columbia University and a bachelor's degree in journalism and media studies from Rutgers University, New Brunswick. So welcome, Riva, and thank you for joining us today. And let's welcome her with a yeah, good, but we want to make sure that she feels that extra welcome.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audio's good. Awesome. Thank you. And can you see me?
Not yet. Not yet.
Now we can.
Okay, and you can see my screen.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, we've checked all the boxes. Thank you all for having me. I'm really excited to be here virtually with you all today. I'm Riva McPollum, and I'm the founder and CEO of Lesson B. And we're a Mount Vernon, New York-based ed tech startup that's reinventing the health class experience for kids and teens. The problem that we're addressing is that we have a really bad health education system in this country. We have traditional health classes that are failing our youth, and they're failing our economy. If we just start with looking at New York, where we're located, the average health teacher is actually based in New York. And yet in New York City, which is the largest school district in the country, 88% of the secondary schools don't even have a health teacher. More broadly across the US, the average health teacher is unlikely to provide comprehensive health education. They're unlikely to represent the student population being served, and they're very likely to resign within the first school year. All of this has gotten so much worse as a result of the Great Resignation, as a result of the pandemic. Nationwide, students are not receiving the quality or the quantity of health education that they deserve. We have national standards from the CDC, and they call for 80 hours of health instruction per student per year in grades 3 to 12. On average, US students receive just 10 hours of health education every year, which is far fewer than the 40 to 50 that's actually required to create any type of behavioral change. And one study estimates the cost of this limited health literacy at up to $3.6 trillion to the US economy. So all of this really stood out to me because when I was growing up, my formal education didn't center health. And I think that that's true of a lot of us. I was very successful academically and athletically, but I was also incredibly self-conscious about my appearance and about my interests. And I had a very hard time establishing healthy relationships. And that had a negative impact on my self-esteem. And so in place of joy, and I feel like education should really be a joyful experience, in place of the joy that comes from being affirmed in your interests and in your identity, for me was just constant striving to feel beautiful, striving to be seen as worthy, striving to be exceptional. The closest person to me was my grandmother. And so on the left, you see a photo of my grandmother and myself at my kindergarten graduation in 1990. I'm dating myself a little bit. My grandmother possessed a quiet strength, and it really reassured me early in life. But as I grew older, I saw that the religion that she really held fast to, that guided her path, it couldn't answer the questions that consumed my adolescent mind. And in that evolution, I lost what was sort of my last safe place. And so now when I think about my daughter today, she's 4 years old. That's a photo of Reese and I last Easter. When I think about her growing up today, I don't want her to go through what I did. I don't want her to struggle with anxiety and with self-esteem. I want her to feel confident and connected and affirmed. And, I've learned since becoming a mother that she doesn't always do what I say, but she always models what I do. And in this magnificent way, she really guides me to becoming the person that I needed when I was a child. By the time I reached high school, I was trying to figure out my sexuality. I was trying to figure out my identity, and I was constantly told, directly or indirectly, that the things I was interested in, from playing drums to computer science, were not for someone like me. I couldn't find a fit with any particular social group. My good grades actually meant that I didn't have classes with the same kids from my neighborhood. And so I was what they called an individual. And somehow at the time, the word individual felt like a dirty word. And so maybe that's why a guidance counselor recommended me for an opportunity to apply for a program called A World of Difference via the Anti-Defamation League. And I remember being so excited about this program. I really wanted to be selected. And I felt like I would be good at it. I got it, I became a facilitator, and it activated something in me. I felt confident and connected leading those workshops. And it wasn't just about me, it was about seeing my peers recognize their similarities and appreciate their differences in real time. Truly seeing how different kids from different groups, maybe, I don't know if these terms exist today, but you have like goth kids over here and sporty kids over here, and having them all come together and suddenly realize their commonalities, their shared humanity, melted away my own insecurities and opened me up to new possibilities. And in that, I also saw the importance of storytelling, the power of telling your story, and the importance of reflection and connection and self-direction. And so much of it informs what we're building today at Lesson B. So when the program abruptly ended, because one of the teachers was having a sexual affair with one of the students, I was pretty devastated. But that also informs the work that we're doing today with Lesson B. So while most school-based ed tech products are only useful as long as there's a teacher at the center of the learning process, I believe that learning should be student-centered. And so Lesson B provides this comprehensive health education and social emotional skill building that puts students in control of the learning experience. Our self-directed philosophy actually drives measurable gains in self-efficacy, which is a leading indicator of well-being. And really interestingly, it's the terminology, it's the language of confidence and connection, which I didn't even know when I started down this path. And importantly, it gives young people the opportunity to learn how to manage and nurture their health, regardless of what the adults in their lives may or may not be doing. And that's so important right now as we're going through this pandemic. And everyone's struggling to be healthy mentally and emotionally. So we have an ever-growing content library of interactive skills-based lessons on physical health, mental health, safety, substance abuse prevention, reproductive health, sexual health. And all of our lessons feature adaptive scenarios, illustrated graphics and animations with relatable characters and stories that promote empathy and diversity and connection. In a nutshell, is what I wished I had when I was a kid. And as communities are seeking autonomous solutions now to support mental health, we've found a niche among early career health teachers, school nurses, school counselors, and are being adopted as a supplemental digital health education and SEL, or social emotional learning solution. And we've also begun exploring partnerships with hospitals and health systems to reach more communities in 2022 and beyond. And we've heard time and time again that our content provides the most relatable experience students have seen, not just in health class, but in all of their educational experience. And my favorite quote comes from Anuska. She's in the center on the screen. She was a high school student in California who served as one of our youth advisors. And after completing our curriculum, she said that I learned that I'm not alone. That's what I got most from the classes. And that just kind of hits me right in the heart, given my experiences growing up, it's truly what this solution is all about. I believe it speaks to the power of our solution to drive positive change in student confidence and connection, and that's why Lesson B exists. So one thing I want to say, and as it was stated in introduction, today, we've raised $1.25 million. We've been adopted by schools and districts in 9 states and counting, and it wouldn't be possible without my team and our investors, but we're really just getting started. When you have investors, they're not going to cherish your dream, your idea, your vision the way you do. They're not going to hold it with that same weight. It's a dream and a vision for you. It's an opportunity for them. It's something they can take or leave. And it's important to have that perspective and recognize those dynamics. It's something on the horizon for your investors, something that they can put dollars in now and get dollars out later. But you have to cherish your vision. And you have to know that every day you're manifesting it, but also be present, and celebrate the small victories. So whether we reach 1 million students or we reach 10 students, every one of those students matters. And that's what gets me up every day. But it's important to maintain perspective. And it's also important to have clarity. The reality is, when you're an entrepreneur, not everyone will stay on the journey with you, and that's fine. Everyone has their stop as you're traveling towards your destiny, but stay true to yourself and the future that you want to create. I want to facilitate a transformation within our education system that creates the type of environment that I know that I needed when I was a kid and what I want for my children. And I imagine a future where young people actually leave grade school with the knowledge, skills, and values to promote individual, family, and community health, and can ultimately create a healthier future for everyone. But I'll also say that building this business is by far the hardest thing I've ever done. And for someone who has struggled with self-worth, having a startup and trying to convince others to invest in you, it might not be the healthiest choice I could have ever made for myself. But ultimately, what keeps me going is that I know I'm meant to do this work. That success isn't just inevitable, it's not just imminent, but it's happening every day with every student that we reach. And most of all, no matter how many no's I get along the journey, I know that I am worthy of health and success. And I want you all to know that you are too. So whether you choose to be an entrepreneur, or you just want to develop the skills of an entrepreneur, it's important to know what your inputs and your outputs are. Know what you're willing to put in. Know what you expect to get out of it. Have that clarity for yourself. Have it for your customers. Have it for your family. Have it for your investors. The impact that you want to have and how you're going to get there. Truly innovating and changing paradigms and industries is not for everyone. Some people get the benefit of the doubt and others don't. But if you have clarity for yourself, you can chart a path to success. And I wish that for all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We love, your story and your work is definitely very inspiring. And I think, everyone's journey, like you said, it's, sometimes things along the way can be difficult, but it's, really like how you give yourself that clarity and even like, cherish those small wins. And I think that's super important. And I also, would love to give an opportunity in case anyone here would like to ask you any questions. If you're on Zoom, feel free to put it in the chat. But yeah, thank you so much. And I'm excited to hear if anyone has anything you want to share or a comment. Doesn't have to be a question.
Hello, my name is Luz. I just wanted to comment and saying that I appreciate you coming out, saying your story. It's not really easy to come and say your struggles and the journey that you have to go through to get to such a success in my book. And I understand seeing the side of needing health, because you do deserve it. Everyone deserves it. And not having it in schools, specifically in schools that you thought you would be safe in. It's really important. So thank you so much for continuing to do your work. And I appreciate that you came out with your story. Because I know a lot of kids, especially in high school and college, high school the most, that's where we need it.
Yeah.
Because high school is your shape ground. That's what builds you
Mhm.
into adulthood. So I thank you for that. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, Riva.
Hey.
So this is Beth speaking. I just want to share that I've actually seen you pitch before, right? A few years ago in 2019. And just to see you again, I'm just so immensely proud. And just to see just as you as a woman entrepreneur, I remember seeing you even in toy space, working with Danny, and to know that you've been putting all this time and you scaled yourself to be in 9 states and counting. And I just think it's just super dope. And thank you so much for being here, because again, it's very aspirational, as Jarlene was saying, to know that you're putting in the input, as you said, right? You're putting in the input, and you have been, and so much more these past few years. And to hear you again today, 2022, it's just these are the outputs that you've been able to curate along the way. And I just think it's just so powerful. So just thank you. And yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? Do we have anything in the chat room? Reba, any closing words or advice for these students going into this process of coming up with an idea or an idea that they currently have and want to bring forward?
Well, I just want to say thank you all for having me. And we are a local business. And if anything that I said today captures your imagination and you want to learn more, I'm available. Please feel free to reach out and we can keep the conversation going. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And so now it's a perfect transition into the competition. Everyone here should have a copy of participate. So this is an opportunity for you to take a moment for yourself, to invest in yourself and your ideas. It's an opportunity for you to skills through working with your peers, collaborating, connecting with mentors, relationships, and also getting to the point that you get comfortable enough to be able to pitch in front of others and really share that idea that you've been working on and building throughout this entire time. So all Iona students are eligible to participate. Even if you're a graduate student, you can as well. Your team could consist of undergraduate and graduate. You can participate by yourself. You can also participate with a team of up to 4 students. And I know some of you may have 1,000,001 ideas that you want to enter, but you can only enter with 1. And that's the perfect way to start. And even if you do not have an idea, that's fine, because there's workshops and events for you to get to that place. And through the mentorship and guidance, you'll be able to build and work on your ideas. And there is a wonderful incentive as well to participate in this competition. We have $11,000 in cash prizes. Our first place is $5,000, second place $3,000, third place $1,500. And fan favorite is pretty much almost like a competition within the competition. You're able to enter with your 1-minute video pitch, which is also your first milestone, and I'll share a little bit more about that. But it's community sourced online. We upload your 1-minute video, and whoever gets the most likes and comments and basically social engagement on your video wins this prize. And then we have basically a judge's choice award, which is the superlative award that you see here. And that's decided at the day of the event after everyone pitches. And so just to share with you a little bit more about the competition, it's about a 2-month long process. We have students who can connect with the mentors. You submit this is 3 milestones. We have milestone 1. So in milestone 1, you're pretty much sharing what is your idea. You're sharing what's the problem. How does your idea solve the problem? And you can submit this video. You can create this video in many ways. You can decide to jot it on the whiteboard. You can decide to get your friends involved in your dorm room and put a video together and have them act it out. You can create a PowerPoint video, Zoom video, however you feel comfortable in sharing your idea. And everyone here, our staff, our team, the ones you see with the icon shirts, your peers, they're here to help you. And if you need someone to help you record, if you need someone to bounce off ideas, you can connect with our students. So there's about a month to be able to enter into our first milestone. It is officially open as so in your packet, you'll see milestone 1. It has the link there. And later on, you'll have an opportunity also to scan it and you'll be able to access it online from your phones and from your computers. So the first milestone is due by March 6th. You would create your video, you upload it to YouTube as unlisted video, and then you submit that link. Your second milestone is a 1-page executive summary, and this provides us and your mentors a way to understand exactly what you're doing completely right now. So it's about 1,000 words, which will make up the page, just going into those details that you shared in your video, but completely more informative. And so that's due by March 27th. And then your final milestone is a pitch deck. So we provide you with all of the guidance for each slide, so you know exactly what you're putting in each one. And that's due by April 10th. And so mind you, in between each milestone, there are workshops that you'll be able to take advantage of to be able to work on each one. So you're not left completely feeling like you're alone or you don't know what to do or if you're doing this right, because you have all the tools in your toolbox. So this is just a timeline so that you can see it from beginning to end. So I mentioned it's about a 3-month process. So we're still solidifying the final pitch dates, but upcoming next, we have the brainstorming event. So even if, let's say right now, you're like, I want to participate in the competition, but I really don't know where to start, or I don't necessarily have an idea, but I do have a problem that I'm thinking of tackling, definitely stop by the brainstorming workshop. It's going to be with Rob Kistner, our Garo Ventures program manager, and he's also our designer in residence. So just come here. You'll have the whiteboards, the markers, post-its, everything that you need to be able to brainstorm and come up with an idea. And then after that, we have a storytelling workshop, because once you figure out, okay, like I have this concept that I want to work on, how do you tell that story, and how do you connect it back to the people that you're solving the problems for? And then milestone 1 is March 6th. So between now and March 6th, you have plenty of time to connect with your peer mentors. Then on March 9th, we'll be doing a speed networking style event where you'll be able to connect with mentors. And then afterwards, you'll be paired with at least 1 to 2 mentors who'll be able to work with you throughout the entire process, who can provide you guidance, who can give you feedback, and you can kind of meet on your own time to be able to work on your idea and continue to refine it to be ready to pitch. These are just some helpful ideas. It doesn't have to be, your idea doesn't have to fall within one specific category that you see here. There's so many different spaces and avenues and fields. So, traditionally you may think, oh, it has to be like a storefront. No, it really does not. You can connect it back to what you're passionate about and whatever field that you're looking to be in. So these are just some ideas that we wanted to share here. So the packet that you see here is also on this code. If you want to take a picture of it for later, I'll keep this up afterwards at the end. But this is just a digital version of what you see here. It's also going to contain all of the flyers for every single workshop that you need. And as we go on throughout the competition, anything that we have for you as a resource will be uploaded onto that file. And if you want to post and share any pictures from today, or even moving on, you can use that hashtag IC2022. And definitely also, if you're not already, follow us on our Instagram. We're on TikTok now too. So check those out. And this is pretty much a space where you'll find every single one of our events, our workshops, other opportunities for you to engage with your peers and on campus as well. So now it's my honor to introduce to you Mr. Flores, who you may know as Lily. She's a two-time winner of the Iona Innovation Challenge in 2018 and 2019. She's actually currently our graduate assistant at the Heinz Institute, and she's pursuing her MBA in marketing and with an advanced certificate in entrepreneurship. She will be sharing some of her insights into her experience and going through the competition 2 years, what that was like, and the impact that it had on her, not only in her academic career, but in her personal life and professional career as well. She currently serves as a community entrepreneur ambassador, accelerating access to entrepreneurship education. She leads entrepreneurial mindset workshops for underclassmen. She's an active change maker agent on behalf of UIF, which is the University Innovation Fellows. She's also the founder of Parkey, a technology solution that she kickstarted during her year here as an undergraduate student, actually in the competition. And she was also former president of CEO while she was an undergrad as well. CEO is our student entrepreneurship club. So let's welcome Lily Baez.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Thank you, Darlene, for our introduction. I'm gonna turn that on. How's everybody doing? It's been a lot of information, right? So I think my role here is to talk to you guys about what it was like to really be in the competition, right? Like what it was like to experience the very first year that I remember, like it was yesterday, participating in the Iona Innovation Challenge, hearing myself be in the kickoff and like listening to the process. And I remember being really excited from the beginning because I was like, this is going to be an experience that I'm already hearing all of the benefits that I'm going to gain. I'm going to meet cool people. I'm going to meet mentors. I'm going to meet alumni. Like I already was seeing it because the information was being delivered to me like during the kickoff. And I remember that I didn't have an idea. I was just recently taking the very first entrepreneurship class as well. And I said to myself, okay, I don't own a business. I've never owned a business, but I'm very interested in still being a part of this competition. And I remember like it was yesterday, I went up to the staff in the community at the Heinz Institute when we were in Dale Ventures, and I said, hey, I don't have an idea, but please help me come up with something, come up with a problem that matters to me and how I can then, be able to participate and solve something that was locally an issue in my community where I'm from. So I remember going to the first event, the brainstorming workshop, and it was sort of like everything and more, right? Because I remember bouncing off ideas and really thinking about my landscape, my ecosystem. I was a sophomore here at Iona, dorming, but I reverted to coming up with a problem. I identified a problem that was affecting my community and sort of like the ecosystem that I sort of saw growing up. And I came up with something, right? That was like the first step. And I was like, okay, now I have a problem, so I can brainstorm what the solution is. And I did it with my peers. I did it with like Dr. Winkler, I remember like it was yesterday. And we came up with something. It was a technology app that was solving, how can I help drivers connect with one another in a way where it was fair, accessible, where we tackled the issues of like wasting gas, wasting a lot of time, and like that lack of accessibility that existed in like urban communities. So that's what I honed in on. And this is me, right? I don't have a tech background, and I was here coming up with an idea that was in tech that required me to really think outside of the box and think about like the people that I was really trying to help and empathize with, like myself, the drivers in my community, the drivers that lived in my neighborhood. And along the way, throughout the competition, what was really awesome, and I think that it was like the highlight of why I loved this so much that I participated the following year as well, was that I was very supported. Like these workshops that you saw in the roadmap were really like designed where I was going to them, they were almost like co-working style. I learned something new. I was connecting with other people that were pursuing. Mind you, we were all doing the competition together, right? But the environment and sort of the excitement behind doing this was that we were all working on solving something that mattered to us individually. And having the support of other people that were also like-minded and saying, you know what, like, I have this problem and I'm coming up with something amazing to solve this problem. With the people that were around, it was really awesome to experience. The workshops were extremely beneficial to me because as I was in the class, like in the classroom environment, learning certain tools that were helping me, the workshops really put things into perspective and it brought clarity in terms of, okay, these are the things that I need. These are the things that I need to understand in order to make the 1 minute pitch video. And like, I remember like, asking my friends to help me record a video of us trying to like go in circles and circles looking for a parking spot. I remember leveraging the tools of like learning what a business model was and understanding how can I make money from this idea? How much is it going to cost me? And along the way, the like mentors that were a part of the experience were amazing. Like they really helped answer every question. I was connecting with them outside of like, at their availability, but I remember connecting like every 2 weeks, like, okay, like, how's it going? Like, have you figured this out? Have you thought about how you are gonna potentially see this idea out, right? Like, what is the vision of it? Well, how was the experience? How are you gonna make money? How much is it gonna cost? How feasible it is? And they really supported me in being able to just meet the deadlines of the second milestone, which is me curating an executive summary for the first time. I'm like, what is this? Like, what are these set of questions? What do I need to fill out? And just having that community aspect and that sort of community support for somebody, that was the very first time that I was doing it, really allowed me to connect with the process, right? With the people that I was doing it with. And then it also just, I was directly applying. And then next thing you know, comes the final, we're submitting the pitch specs, and I remember having so much fun. Like, I'm like, this is something that I can't believe how much fun I was having working on something that, again, that can just be word I was passionate about, right? And I ended up being a finalist that first year, and I was in doing something in technology, so it was an app. I did my pitch spec, and I made it to be one of the and getting on that stage, like, we've probably seen that episode of like Shark Tank, right? Or we've seen at least one episode or at least sometime of Shark Tank. I remember like being on that stage, I presented in classroom environments. I was presenting in college environments before, but to be in front of a crowd where I was pitching something that was an idea that I didn't have like a few weeks before was literally, I remember like it was yesterday. It was one of the most exciting, like transformative, like moments of my like undergraduate career. Like I remember that being one of the aha moments, like the light bulb in my head turned on and I said, this is the space that I need to be in and I need to stay here and I need to learn more from the people around me. And I ended up like succeeding. So I pitched and got in front of Mr. and Mrs. Hines and the panel of judges that were there, which was really awesome having, feeling that like, wow, this is really awesome. Like this is a full-on like pitch competition. I won first place and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was like, I believed it because I put in, like Rita said, right? The input was that I was putting the time, going to the workshops, figuring out this idea that I didn't have prior, and the output was that I wanted to win, right? So it did happen like that. And I remember I'm like, wow, I was extremely proud of myself. And from there, I feel like that was just like the rocket that I just launched me forward. Like it's really awesome. I think Jody mentioned it before, but you can do anything with the prize money if you win, which is really awesome that it's set up like that, the competition. I remember, for example, what I did with my prize money is that there was an opportunity about a study abroad that was happening with EIA, the European Innovation Academy. And I said, I want to continue to build out this idea with more like-minded people. So I entered this accelerator that was in Italy. So I went for a study abroad. So I took my money and I used it for study abroad expenses. And it was great because it was money that I was able to, it reduced my overall cost of like the experience. And I did it again the next year, right? Like I think I love this so much. I mean, you hear how much I love it, but I love this so much that I did it again next year with a different angle. I was thinking I was a nonprofit that I had in my head. Another idea. Again, we can have so many different ideas, but unfortunately, we can only submit one at a time. We can go with one at a time. So the next year, I did it with a different idea, and I ended up winning again first place, which is really awesome. Any questions? I think that like I see through my eyes that I highly encourage y'all to like participate, to take on the challenge for yourself if you have an idea, if you don't have an idea, and be a part of the community, and you'll see for yourself, like you'll have your own stories to share and to communicate like how this experience sort of like impacted you and help you figure out wherever you are in your undergraduate or graduate career, something of the next piece, right? these next 2 months can help you even maybe redirect, like, what do you want to like major in, or like your career, right? So I think that's just like my message, because it definitely impacted my trajectory a lot, and I wouldn't have changed. I could, if I were able to go back, I would not change a thing, because it's propelled me to be able to. I've worked on that idea even post, so I kept pursuing it and kept pursuing it. I even did an incubator with the Westchester County that I wrapped up in December of this past year. So it's that ongoing process that Reba says about this space. That if you fall in love with it, you're gonna want to continue to work on it. And I think that's the beauty of like this. Thank you, y'all. After, like, the floor is open, my availability to all of you is always open, so we can always connect, okay?
Thank you, Levine.
Thank
I
you.
think, you know, one of the key words that really stood out is community. And you have the same space where you can engage with us, with your peers, with mentors. You know, that space where you can collaborate, feel free to explore all these different ideas in your head. And, you know, this year I'm really excited to announce that we're partnering with Iona's new mentoring initiative through Girls Connect. And we have Colleen Slattery here. Just want to give you a quick shout out. Director of the Iona Mentoring Program. So thank you for joining us today. And it's been really great building this partnership together so that we can reach a wider audience of mentors for you all, more industry leaders and additional mentors who can help you along the way. So we're really, really excited to be able to incorporate this into the competition so that can continue, you can continue to build these relationships, not just during the competition, but that they lead to relationships beyond your undergraduate career. So next up, there we go. So I just want to give you all an opportunity to ask some questions. We're here to facilitate Q&A. We have our assistant director, Nanette Kuchek with George. She's going to go through a few frequently asked questions and also give you some time to be able to ask some questions yourself.
So I'm gonna start with the first question that came to mind. Did we facilitate Lily to win twice? No, we didn't have the upper hand because she worked with us. Our judges are separate. We invite them, they don't know our students in advance, so no. So you guys are a clean slate to really win. But any questions before? These are the most asked questions, but you could enter by yourself, you could enter with a team, you could enter with a question mark, right? You could be like, oh, I have a team, but that didn't work out, somebody bailed out, that's fine. It's really sort of that progression or build a team as you go along. We suggest don't go max 4 people in terms of the team, just for the team dynamic. You could really have a big team if you wanted, but reality is this is a 2-month competition. You want to make sure you get along with the people that you're teaming with. 3 is ideal, but the real impact of a team is making sure that you have a diverse team. Don't just put your friends that everybody does the same thing, right? Because then you guys are really not bouncing out ideas. And he said, I have no idea about tech, right? Her teammate should be, if she pursues this idea, should be a tech person, right? To be able to give her that sort of leverage that she doesn't have on her own. So that's the kind of suggestions that we put out there. Could you submit more than one idea? Darlene said it before. No, the idea is that you focus on this one idea and really develop it through. You could participate multiple times in your sort of time at Iona. Maybe if you decide to go to grad school later, you could still apply. So yes, that's open, but just one idea at the same time. And could you win more than one prize? Yes. So you could win first place and fan favorite. You could win, the choices of the judges award if that's the case, or you may not make it to the final and still win fan favorite, for example, right? So there's different ways of winning. Do not get discouraged. So if you went through all 3 milestones, but didn't get to present in front of judges, that doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to present for the fan favorite, right? You could participate in that alongside. So that's another way of winning. So any other questions? And for the Zoom crowd, I know you guys weren't seeing all the PowerPoint. If you have any questions, feel free to ask it through the chat.
So I have a question. So let's say that I submit my video, my 1-minute pitch video with my problem, my idea. Let's say that after that, somehow like I brainstorm again and my solution changes, but the problems is the same. That's still considered under that one idea if it
Yes.
pivots
Yes.
throughout.
Yeah, so you could pivot your idea as much as you can, because that's why you have the guidance of the mentor to sort of say, maybe that's not the way, right? And you decide to pivot, that's completely fine.
Okay.
Can you talk more about the connection with the mentors and how they can help you with your idea?
Yes, thank you, Reed. So mentoring is a big part of what we do throughout the competition in entrepreneurship overall, and I think Iona as well. We're really fostering this, but it's really to guide you through this process, right? These are the group of people that you could ask questions that have been out there in the real world, developing some of their ideas themselves, right? So in the pairing that we do throughout the competition, we hope to pair you with somebody that has some similarities to your idea that you're doing with, right? So we start you with an in-house mentor, what we're calling the IRs, which are our in residence. We have a designer, a strategist, and an entrepreneur in residence who you're paired with one of them. But we're also hoping to pair you with more, right? Because everybody has a different feedback. And what we're asking from you is take it and how do you compress it for you and your business, right? Because people are going to have different feedback based on their life experiences, their industry experiences. So it's good to really have different point of view to see how it really works for you. So there's no other questions, Zaina? There's no questions on the chat. Okay. So since we have no other questions, now I put the onus back on you and sort of let's make this happen, right? We have peer mentors appointment available, so do not leave. Lily is available for peer mentorship. I have Marisol in the back with that. Rhea is available for peer mentorship. I have other interns here that are also available for peer mentorship. If you wish to connect, if you connect them before, they can answer a lot of the questions. And if they don't know the answer, they'll come to one of us and we'll have the answer. And if we don't know the answer, because it's okay that we don't know it all, we'll figure it out with you, right? And this process, I think that's the key, that we're doing a lot of this with you. And this is a great opportunity that you guys could have to really try things out in a safe place. Because if you go out there and now try to open a business without sort of this guidance, that one might be a little bit harder. So if you've been out here, that's great, because you know what? You don't lose that much. Maybe just the time. And you have a great opportunity to win some money in that process. So yeah, so do not leave without scheduling those appointments with your peer mentors and us moving you forward through the competition.
Thank you.